Well, Merry Christmas, everybody, and welcome back to Cure for the Common Game. Today, we're going to be talking about elves, because it's about the Christmasiest tribe that I can think of off the top of my head. Now, I think I have 4 or 5 different elf tribal decks, because I'm just trying to, as you know, I'm trying to use up all the legendaries with a deck of their own. Oh, hold on. Let me get that off there so y'all can actually see this card. Eladamri, Lord of Leaves. Eladamri gives all your elves Forest Walk and Shroud. Of course, that was pre-keyword Shroud, but, hey, we'll take it. Now, the elf tribe is really, really done. I'm not going to go in a lot to the creatures. This is what I call the elf deck starter pack. Obviously, you've got the... Here, we'll go real quick. Elvish Poacher. A lot of people don't know about this because it's fairly old. You tutor an elf into play. That's pretty good. Everybody knows about Azuri and the Wood Elves. Copperhorn, you're untapping. He gets to morph guy, turns face up. Elves get bigger till end of turn. You play an elf. You deal some damage to a flyer. Obviously, one of the Soul Sisters. Here again, cycling. Elves get +2. Elves are buy one, get one free. Power and toughest number of elves. This is why I call this the elf pack, because it just... all of these cards, if you're going to build tribal elves, you just about got to have them. A number of green permanents in play. Power and toughness, obviously the Heedless one. Elvish Vanguard. Timberwatch. Jiraga Warcaller. Now, the Jiraga Warcaller goes really great with the Immaculate Magistrate. If you don't have enough mana at the time to just multi-kick this guy, here, let me get close here so you can read both of these. If you ain't got enough mana to multi-kick him a whole bunch of times like you want to, the Magistrate can help you out later on, and just, there's no better creature. If the Warcaller's on the board, that's who you want to give your counters to. I mean, that just goes without saying. Obviously, all of the champion effects of the champion. You can't do it without a Llanowar. Imperious Perfect. Priest of Titania is, of course, busted with the Umbra Mantle. We'll take a look at these side by side for a moment. This adds mana for each elf. 3 mana untaps it. It's infinite mana. It's really easy to figure that one out. Of course, the Archdruid, Thornwield, Elvish Mystic, and got to have the Well-Wisher. The Well-Wisher buys you time. It's not that you have a strong life gain deck thing going, but it does buy you some time, and she does draw a lot of hate for removal and such. Those are the typical elf cards. Now, I run some other elves to supplement. Fauna Shaman, I'm playing creatures. She's an elf. Here again, I do not have any cards, any creatures in the deck that are not elves. There are some creatures that would be outstanding in here, but because of my own tribal rules, I can't do it. Elves also, I think, would... maybe there's a few races that theoretically elves would associate themselves with, forest creatures, things like that, but typically when I do tribe, I'm about that tribe. So, this was almost a stretch for me, because yes, it is an elf, but it makes wolves. I don't know. It's an elf, so I allow it. The Frontier Guide, by the way, a lot of people miss this guy, but the ability to just flat out tutor a land into play every turn, some kind of good to smooth out that draw. Now, here again, and this may be cheating, I understand, But I feel like he's a pretty good elf. Y'all know he's also a pretty good Mutant Ninja Turtle. But anyway, love the Chameleon Colossus. He does fit, and we have an ability to produce some mana with this deck. So, this is one of the only 2 artifacts that I have. Both are equipment. The Skull Clamp is a draw card engine. It's it's for when you Eladamri here is the reason why I only have 2 equipment, because the Shroud and the Equip, they don't really work that well together. But the Skull Clamp is too good not to run, just simply because of the Elves. Hey, wear this hat, it fits, I promise. I'll draw some cards, it'll die. Off of the spells like, where the heck's it at? It's here somewhere, I don't know. Only run 2 non-basics, obviously the Cycle Land and the Oran Reef. Just because. Walkers. I viewed Nissa as having 2 spots, because if you run that Nissa, you got to run that Chosen. And I do like that Nissa, and I do like that Chosen simply because she does create her own blocker. Yes, she can just absolutely dump all your elves on the board. That's fine. Garrick, obviously we're untapping lands, and it's overrun on a stick. Y'all know I'm got to play with a Harmonize. Wirewood Pride and Tribal Unity are almost cards that I consider to be in the elf pack, if you will. Wirewood Tribal Unity, y'all see me use that in a lot of tribal decks that have green in it, simply because plus X to your team. Elvish Guidance is, of course, another elf pack land or enchant land. You can put this on a forest and then just go to town with all your elves that say untap a land to generate mana for your Chameleon Colossus. Now, Song of the Dryads, I believe, is almost as good as Beast from Within as far as just removal, because they just destroy permanents. Yeah, Song of the Dryad doesn't outright destroy it, but let's face it, it does. Emrakul is now a forest. Oh, you have a forest? By the way, I've got Forest Walk. Bam. Alpha Status. Here's another tribal card I use quite a bit. Pretty good. But there again, these are for times when you do not have Eladamri out. Now, obviously, you will never, ever, ever, put this on Eladamri for the general win because, Shroud. But it seems like there's a lot of cards that work against him, but he's not going to be out all the time. He is not actually needed a lot. He's more there for the protection than anything else. Sometimes you can actually get a Forest Walk win in with him. Crows and Grip, obviously that's a given. We're playing mono green. We have a lot of forest. Primal Bellow's good. Stormfront. Here's one that not a lot of people play. As a matter of fact, I've never seen this on the other side of the table. I think I'm the only one I've seen in years that plays with it. Because it's a 1-mana enchantment, people. Spend 2 mana to tap a flyer. Obviously, we're elves. We have a problem with flyers. Flyers are a thing. Angels, dragons, all this. Demons. The typical ADD stuff, Tapping them down so you can swing through to win. It's pretty good. As I said, we only have 2 artifacts. Creeping Corrosion. I know this card scares me. It really does. It doesn't scare me in this deck, but when somebody says Creeping Corrosion, I'm like, well, can I even last? Of course, we're going to have the Regrowth and the Collective Unconsciousness, because that's just a great card in Elves. Green Sun, of course, to tutor out whatever piece we might need. Now we're going to get into the last 3 cards are just mass pump up. Now, Overwhelming Stampede is good. It was actually more of a fixed Overrun. And by fixed, what I mean is Overrun was uncommon for years and years and years, and then they realized that it was at uncommon, it was warping draft environments. If you opened up an Overrun, you grabbed the Overrun and you drafted every green dude after it, and you played and won. That's just how the Overrun math of draft. So they needed to get rid of it out of the uncommon slot, and they wanted to move it up to rare, but they had to do something a little better with it. So they made it easier to cast, and they give it its plus X instead of 3s, where you can potentially give your dudes a really big plus. But that's not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about Triumph of the Hordes. That's the last card of the deck, and I'm telling you what, this is insane. 4 mana. Don't fuzz out on me, Cameron, now. For 4 mana, +1/+1, trample, and infect. Now, the +1 is negligible. The trample is really good. The infect is ridiculous. There's a lot of times, because this is an early aggressive deck. Yeah, you tend not to swing early on with your 1s and 2s when other people are unguarded and they haven't had a chance, because you don't want to upset people before they get their board presence. But if you draw this early enough with 5 or 6 elves, this can just end a game quickly. If you need that one player gone who is... you need to eliminate that one Elish Norn player before they get enough mana to play Elish Norn, and you just sit here, twiddling your thumbs for the rest of the night. This is how you do it. Infect, as I've said before, the Infect is still just 10 in commander damage. I know a lot of people have house rules to where it is 20. At my house, that's exactly what we do, because it's what it should be. It was designed as Half-Life. Y'all heard me preach about this before. Rules Committee fix this. I encourage everybody to play with as much Infect as you can until they fix this junk, because 10 damage, 10 Infect damage, making a person lose in a double life, double everything format is just crazy. Anyway, that's what I've got for today. I appreciate y'all for watching. Y'all have a Merry Christmas. Enjoy it. Spend time with the family. Please don't eat too much like I know I have and will and am. Shoot. Thank y'all for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And we appreciate you now. But as always, it is time to shuffle and cut.